because all of this is going to blow up on your watch. My generation, my parents' generation, has allowed this thing to go because nobody wants to pay the political price for saying that if you want to keep Social Security benefits and Medicare benefits where they are today, the only way to do it is to increase the payroll tax by between 50 and 70%. How many people in this room tonight going out to start a small business or going out to get a job, hopefully there will be some jobs, want to see your payroll taxes increased by 50% to pay for benefits that have been promised to future beneficiaries that we have no way to pay for? We're going to need some profiles in political courage, and this health care plan is not that. Now, let me turn to the 2010 elections real quick, and then I'll close and open it up for Q&A. What's going to happen? You know, obviously there's a long time between now and November. You know, one of the little known facts about American politics is presidential elections are actually decided by Labor Day, and off-year elections are decided after Labor Day. No one has lost a presidential election who was ahead in the Gallup poll on Labor Day since 1952. Now, people have lost big leads. You know, Carter in '76 started out with a 30-point lead and it closed. Nixon in '68, big lead coming out of the convention, only won by 500,000 votes, et cetera, et cetera. But if you were ahead on Labor Day, you won in November. Off years are the exact opposite. They are very sensitive to late-breaking events. You know, take, for example, the revelation right before the 1986 elections about Iran-Contra. No question in my mind that that helped cost the Republicans the U.S. Senate. Take what happened in 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Democrats were probably on their way to losing 10 or 15 House seats, only lost 5. And I could give many other examples in off-year elections. Now, what's interesting is here again, presidential job approval is predictive. If you take every off-year election since 1958, if a president's job approval is over 60% on election day, and there have been only, I believe, 3 such instances. Clinton in 1998, ironically enough, on the threshold of impeachment, his job approval was over 60%. Bush in '02, still in the afterglow of September 11th and the response to September 11th, his job approval was in the low 60s. In my home state of Georgia on Election Day 2002, I remember it very well because I was state party chairman, was 72%. In that case, the party of the incumbent president gains an average of 1 seat in Congress. 1 seat. If the job approval is below 60 but above 50, the average number of House seats lost is 12 seats. So that's Jimmy Carter in 1978. That would be Nixon in 1970. So healthy, but not strong. If it's below 50, which is where Obama is teetering today, this is Nixon Ford 74, Clinton 1994, Bush 2006. The average number of seats lost is 41. How many seats do the Republicans need to gain control of Congress? 41. In the Senate, the picture doesn't look much better. Joe Biden's seat in Delaware, probably gone today. Harry Reid looking very vulnerable in Nevada. He would only be the 3rd Senate Majority Leader in modern times to be defeated, along with Tom Daschle in '04 and Millard Tydings of Maryland in 1952. Obama's seat in Illinois is vulnerable. Blanche Lincoln in Arkansas, who voted for the original health care bill in the Senate, is trailing every one of her Republicans by more than 20 points, some by as much as 24, and now she has a challenge from the left in her own primary by the incumbent lieutenant governor, who's raised over $1.5 million from groups like MoveOn.org and so forth. So I'm not in the prediction business. I'm not going to give a number, but it'll be a healthy number of seats gained by Republicans in the Senate. Now, what do Republicans need to do to come back? 06 and 08 were devastating for the party. Republicans lost 55 House seats in 06 and 08 between the two cycles. They lost a total of 17 U.S. Senate seats, and not only lost control of both chambers, but really until Scott Brown won, couldn't even have an impact on the legislative process. I think they need to do more than rely on continuing plummeting poll numbers for Obama. My sense is that Obama has fallen as low as he's going to go. The Democrats are going to stick with him. Union households, minority voters will stick with him. Young voters are beginning to certainly go sideways, but at a minimum, we're not seeing them turn out in as big a numbers as they did in 08, even if they remain supportive. And what is abundantly clear from New Jersey, from Virginia to Massachusetts, is that Obama's star power and celebrity is not transferring. So he's going in for these candidates, and they're still losing. So there's some evidence that even if Obama's numbers come back, that it may not help some of these individual Democrats, but we'll have to see. I think what Republicans have to do is three things. Number one, they have to put forward a program of bold conservative reform. Voters are a lot more interested in what you're for than they are what you're against. You can't just oppose the Obama health care plan. You have to have some ideas of your own. You can't just criticize the Obama stimulus plan. You have to have a plan to get the economy moving and create jobs. I believe there will be such a document. I don't expect it to be called the Contract with America, but the House Republicans in particular know that they need to give a platform to their candidates so that they can lean into this and have independent voters see that they have some plans, because in the end, elections are not about the past. They're always about the future. It isn't enough to just criticize your opponent. You've got to have some answers on the kitchen table, middle-class issues that people care about. Secondly, Republicans need to broaden the tent and practice the politics of addition and not the politics of subtraction. And this is particularly true among Hispanics, African Americans, Asian Americans, women, seniors, and young people. These are groups that Republicans have underperformed with. We're starting to see some evidence of those voter groups starting to listen to Republicans again. Seniors in particular, because of their concerns about the Obama health care plan. If the Republicans don't figure out a way to gain a minimum of mid-30% of the Hispanic vote, they will be a permanent minority party by the year 2040. There is just no way arithmetically to compete in states like Arizona, California, North Carolina, New Mexico, Texas, Florida, without gaining your fair share of that Hispanic vote. It's probably not going to be 50%, but in 2004, when I was working on the Bush campaign, President Bush got 42% of the Hispanic vote, the largest percentage ever won by a Republican presidential candidate. 4 years later, John McCain lost that vote 69-31. That state of affairs has to be reversed. Same with African Americans, young people, and women.